AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Decision Critical, Concierge Nursing. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Russo. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right. We're here. Glad you are as well. It's 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Regional baseball starts this weekend. Haven't even looked at the bracket, but Kendall Rogers has. He joins us now. How are you, dude?
I'm doing well. You know, like that Ryan Reynolds gif where he kind of like looks every direction and wonders like where the heck he's at?
Yeah.
That's how I kind of envision you guys feeling like right now.
It's like, Kendall, I've done this job a long time. I've covered LSU athletics since 2007. So 11. Well, they missed the postseason in 07. They also missed it in 11. I genuinely don't remember what it felt like in 2011.
Yeah,
the last time
crazy.
they missed it. I remember that
Yeah,
summer because that was a crazy busy summer. That was the summer when A&M and Missouri came into the SEC or announced they were leaving. There was like an NFL lockout. The Pels got the number 1 pick and picked Anthony Davis. So it was weird because we had a lot to do that summer without LSU baseball. But I don't remember what it was like, what that feeling was like. And I don't like.
You know
but I don't
what?
like
Somebody, hey, I'll tell you this. I'm sure this will get clipped and put on Twitter, and I'll be accused of being a homer. But as a college baseball fan, like I don't love LSU not being in the postseason. Like to me, it's like the MLB postseason without the Dodgers, Yankees, and Red Sox.
Kendall, I don't think that makes you sound like a homer. First of all, you're not an LSU homer. Why would you be? But the other part of it is like you also you run a business that's around college baseball. Mm-hmm. The biggest brand in college baseball with the most fans.
Usually helps to have the Tigers. Usually helps to have the Tigers involved.
I mean, tell me subscriptions and page views and interests aren't up. Like when D1 Baseball puts on your tournament early in the season, I would imagine the pay-per-view subs are a little higher when the Tigers come to town. Yes?
What's crazy is how much higher it is for LSU versus Texas last year when we had the Longhorns in one of our tournaments. But I will tell you this is the last little nugget I'll give. Just kind of give you an idea of how much LSU fans care about college baseball. The number of bracket challenge submissions that we have are down like 4,000, and they're literally all from the state of Louisiana. So there you go. We need y'all back next year. Come on now.
Yeah, we'd love to be back forever and never have to go through this ever again. But look, obviously, it was the right decision. I mean, the LSU clearly did not belong in the NCAA tournament. So if folks did not, like me, were in Arizona playing golf on Monday at TPC Scottsdale and did not watch the bracket reveal, what was the most controversial decision?
I have to give this committee credit. I thought Michael Alford and the committee did a really nice job with this field. I think if you're looking for something to really nitpick, I still think Arkansas should have been a host over Mississippi State. I mean, I think you look at a team with 18 quad one wins versus a team that was 9-14 against that same grouping. And you look at the fact they won the head-to-head. They finished in a comparable conference finish. They also, made some noise in Hoover. I was just a little surprised the committee, essentially ignored all those things just because State was ahead of them in the RPI. So, again, kind of in the same vein that I like LSU being the postseason. I love seeing a regional in Start Vegas for all the pageantry. But I did think they messed that up. The other one for me would probably be, I guess, Mercer being left out. I mean, I get it because the non-conference schedule was so bad. But anytime you see a mid-major with an RPI of 28 and they miss the postseason, it catches your attention a little bit.
Who got the toughest draw?
I really think Nebraska did. I think if you look at that Lincoln Regional with Nebraska as the top seed, obviously hosting for the first time in a long time, that's going to be a scene this weekend. I think they said they were expecting 11,000, 12,000 people to every Nebraska game, which is very LSU/MSU-esque. Ole Miss is a 2 seed and Arizona State is a 3. I think Ole Miss is really dangerous. I look at, the fact that, Hunter Elliott's, healthy. Cade Townsend, Taylor Rave, I thought, one of their weekend guys, has been really good over the last month of the season. And I kind of feel like they've underachieved offensively all year. I kind of wondered in the windy, hot elements this weekend if they kind of explode a little bit. And you have Arizona State with Landon Harrison, one of the best, hitters in college baseball, kind of leading that offense. That regional, to me, all three of those teams could win that thing.
Kendall Rogers is with us, D1 Baseball. Other side of it, who did the committee do a favor to?
I don't know if they really did anybody a favor. I mean, I would say maybe UCLA getting Virginia Tech, who was a very kind of 40-ish RPI as a 2 seed, was a favor. I mean, when it's UCLA, they haven't lost a series all year. They're the number one overall national seed. Like, do you really call it a favor? I mean, I guess the other one for me might be, Auburn. I thought got a favorable draw with UCF and NC State. I actually thought, I'll kind of go back to the negative here just because I kind of noticed it again going through the bracket. North Carolina, how about the road they had to Omaha? I mean, they got to get through Tennessee and East Carolina, VCU, one of the better 4 seeds. And oh, by the way, if you win that regional and then the other side wins the regional, you got to face A&M's offense to go to Omaha. That's a really tough road for the Tar Heels.
That is brutal. He's Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. I was also interested, Kendall, to see the Sun Belt get 5 teams. That's, I guess, just a little surprising to see a non-power league get that many at-large bids. Walk me through how that happened.
Yeah, it's a great question. So this is where Mercer comes into the equation. So Mercer gets left out, 215 non-conference schedule. Troy, Texas State, and, I could take the Cajuns out of the equation because I think they kind of earned it with the way they played the last month of the season. But Texas State and Troy, 2 of the last 4 teams in the field, what's the common denominator with those guys? Go with their non-conference schedule. Troy was number 2 overall. Texas State, number 20 overall. So what the committee is telling these mid-majors and what the Sun Belt teams have figured out, play a really tough non-conference schedule. You might be a team like Troy who comes out of the gate pretty slow, but once you kind of get your act together in conference play, all those non-conference games that you played that were difficult, that you might have lost early on, start to really help you out. So that is kind of the lesson for mid-majors all over the country is even if you don't win all those games, play tough teams in non-conference.
Would you think overall of the SEC teams that got in their draws? What stands out?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about most of the SEC. I mean, Georgia, I think they obviously have an extremely favorable draw with Boston College as a 2 seed. I think A&M, I think USC is interesting to watch just because, they're going to pitch off and save Mason Edwards, who has 160 strikeouts on the year. They're going to throw him in the second game. It's a gamble because Texas State can really hit in the role, but if they can win that game, that's a tough matchup for A&M. And, of course, Alabama, I think, has a tough number 2 in Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's played really well down the stretch. And, you guys have seen Alabama, from afar. I don't think they're that good. I mean, I get that they're number 7 national seed, but, like, of the SEC teams that are top kind of 1 or 2 seeds, I might have more conviction in, like, Tennessee winning their regional than I do of Alabama winning its own regional.
The team that in the last month, Kendall, I think that most caught my eye was Florida.
Yeah.
Is that a team that you think has like a real run in them, like get to Omaha, potentially like win the national championship type run?
Yeah, the team I really like right now is Auburn.
Okay.
I saw them up close at Texas A&M here a couple weeks ago when over here in the Lone Star State, and I love their team. I think when you look at the rotation, Andres Alvarez, Alex Petrovic, Jake Marciano, that's a really good rotation, and Jackson Sanders on the back end. And then you look at the offense and the guys like Chase Fraley, that is a deep offensive lineup. It's suddenly a powerful offensive lineup, and they've already had an elite rotation. So, a lot of people are going to go with Georgia Tech, UCLA. I picked Auburn to win the national championship. I love their team right now.
Auburn is the 4 seed nationally. So you got Auburn winning the national championship?
I do. I think it's their year, and the thing that I also like about them, and the same kind of went for LSU last year. One of the common denominators with championship teams is how do they handle stressful situations? You think back to LSU when they had that shocker against Little Rock, and how they bounced back from that. And I think about this Auburn team when they've kind of been punched in the mouth this year. Every single time they haven't lost their cool, they haven't panicked, and they've responded in an impressive fashion. And just the fact that that's their approach, it makes me feel really good about them.
Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. So who does Auburn beat in the championship series?
Oh, boy. I think I had them beating Georgia Tech in the championship series.
Okay.
So, Georgia Tech, the crazy thing about Tech is 8 guys in their everyday lineup, 8 of the 9 hitters in their everyday lineup, Matt, have an OPS over 1,000. I mean, that's a joke. So they've got to get that far, right? I mean, the beauty of college baseball is I don't think they're getting knocked out of the OU or Citadel this weekend. But the beauty of college baseball is they could easily lose a super regional just because that's baseball.
2 out of 3, man. Is that maybe a product of the ACC not being very good?
I guess we'll find out here in about 24 hours.
Yeah, we will.
Well, maybe not 24 hours because they don't play OU. But
Kendall Rogers, D1Baseball.com. We'll send him your way to go fill out some brackets. Hopefully we get that number.
I know, man. Hey, you know what? LSU fans, stay engaged. I have a feeling we'll be back on here in a few weeks to talk about some pretty big portal additions. I know Jay's out there cooking already, so let's talk about.
Let's go. Thank you, dude. We appreciate you, man, as always.
Have a good weekend. See you, bud.
You do the same. That's Kendall Rogers. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. Excited about that. We've told you a different URL for you, which still works. FirstSouthLand.com still works, but FirstSouthFarmCredit.com is the new website. Easy to use. It's the name of the business. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. They've been financing rural America since 1916. And they bring more than a century of financial expertise. And I love telling you about First South Farm Credit because this is a business when you do something so well and you stay around for a century doing it, it speaks volumes. They have a post up. It's a review from Chester who said answered every question as if he didn't know the answer, and if he didn't know the answer, found out quickly. You're talking about a business that their business has been helping people buy land for 100 years, and they're the best at it. 110 years, as a matter of fact. So if you're thinking of buying land, say it all the time. Your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthFarmCredit.com. 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 All right, y'all. Really good show, man. We are jammed up here in hour 3. Let me move quickly. When we come back, Jeff Watson's going to join the show. He's part of the Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys team. Jeff handles a lot of NIL, NCAA legislation type stuff. So with the proposed bipartisan legislation, the Save College Sports Act, want to get Jeff's reaction. I guess my one question is this even constitutional? Can it hold up? We'll ask Jeff when we come back. Stay here at AFR.
After Further Review.
Okay. They have, I tell you all the time, to buy local, shop local over at Clegg's Nursery, to bypass the big box stores and support great local retailers and great local businesses. And I really do encourage you to do that always, and especially to support our great sponsors and partners like Clegg's Nursery. Right now, great deals going on. Tell you all the time to just plant something, right? Just plant something over at Clegg's Nursery. And right now, if you want to create a tropical paradise, they have these dramatic flowers that add a bold tropical flair to your patios, around the pool all summer. Dippledinia, hibiscus, these beautiful flowers. And right now, the entire stock is 20% off the regular price. You got to get by any of the 4 Clegg's Nursery locations to buy and to save. So, Siegen Air Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona. Presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at DecisionCriticalVR.com.
Progress is bipartisan legislation in Congress, the Protect College Sports Act. Ted Cruz and Maria Cantwell co-authoring this legislation. The question is any of this stuff actually constitutional? Like, even if it passes, or is this just getting tied up in court? Jeff Watson, part of the team over at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, keeps up on all the NIL stuff and all the legalities. He can sort of make sense of it in layman's terms for us. Hey, man, thanks for the time. How are you?
Hey, bud, doing great.
Okay, I'm not sure if you've read the 1,100-page bill yet, but do you have an overall thought on what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I do, and I've read a lot and read different angles from proponents and people that are, against it, for it. Athletes.org is one of the sites, that is against it, and then obviously you have everyone else who involved with the NCAA and the conferences and the schools that are for it. And essentially, you remember last time when we talked about Trump doing the order where he was just saying, hey, somebody do something. I think a lot of people are taking this, that this is the let's start something and let's do something. And so this is a rough draft, if you will, of here's all the issues that we believe are out there, and let's address them in a rough draft, and let's get this started. And that's kind of where we are right now. Addressing everything from, NIL, agent regulation, the Lane Kiffin rule with the coaches, the media rights pooling, protecting students and the other non-revenue programs. And then obviously one of the main things is dealing with the booster collective kind of not traditional NIL money that is coming through that is funding a lot of all the programs.
What do you see as the biggest roadblocks?
The antitrust coming through with no representation by the students. That's the biggest thing. That's what athletes.org is all over. If you go to their website and look, they did a response to it. It's really a well thought out response where they're like, what you're doing is you're trying to give back the power from the NCAA that we've been fighting through these lawsuits without the other side's ability to be involved in the rule setting. Okay, so you don't have collective bargaining. But what this can do is start that process, because just to let you know where this goes, it goes from this to it gets into a markup stage where everyone is going to be reviewing it, and subcommittees are going to be created that are going to address each one of these issues. And there will be numerous changes to this act before it is ever submitted for vote at Congress. So you go from here to markup to officially being on the vote. Then if it passes, then it goes to Trump's desk for a signature. So we're a long way from that. And we're at the very beginning of, these are all the issues. This is how we think you should handle it. Now let's go and talk about it and see if we can't get a final draft of this act to send to Congress.
Okay. Jeff Watson is with us with Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, giving us some perspective here, some legal perspective on the Protect College Sports Act. Is it even possible, Jeff, to cap what student athletes can earn?
That is the problem. If, and Matt, I say this in all sincerity, that both of you and I both have the same hair issue. And so if, Pine Sol wanted to have or Mr. Clean would want to have another person doing their commercials and all, and they came to you and said, hey, I want to pay you this to do it, there's no one that could stop you from getting that money or earning that money. That is the inherent problem with this, which is why the antitrust part of this is the biggest issue. But if you have the students on the other side negotiating this, now we can get something that everyone has agreed to and have some teeth in it. But that's that's what this act sets up. It's the issue. So the score, that was the SCORE Act that came out that kind of got busted up pretty quickly. That addressed it differently than this, where at least this act allows the possibility of collective bargaining by the students down the road, which most people that believe that went through the SCORE Act did not. And that's a bunch of legal issues with whether they non-employees or employees and that. And I won't get into all of that because it's very complicated issues. But in a nutshell, that's what one of the big differences that this does lend itself to that in the future, which is the way you get this to where both sides can kind of agree to it.
The Lane Kiffin clause, which would prevent a coach effectively from leaving their school before the season's over. Is that legal?
Well, I think that's part of, we're going to put all of these restrictions on students and athletes. Why are we not doing something for the coaches? And so I think the Lane Kiffin rule, taking coaches from other programs while their sports season is still underway, I think that's part of it. Well, let's control the coaches as well. And again, you would want a representative from the coaches to negotiate and kind of help this process along. But this is definitely a start, with like last time we talked with the Trump deal, like somebody do something. And this is a bipartisan, both sides agreeing that, hey, this is an issue. And while we differ on a lot of stuff, let's see if we can, concede some areas and get a drafted act that we can start with so we can try to get this college sports, NIL, collectives under control.
Aside from just the literal sense that we are a day closer, do you think we are any closer to actual resolution?
I think we are. I don't think it's going to be quick. I think we got a lot of work to do. You made the point. I think the biggest thing is what is fair market value for an NIL deal for a kid, because this doesn't limit NIL. It's really a shot at the media company rights, the way they've negotiated, and the way the big boosters have been able to put money into a collective to support a program, limiting that, because that's where a lot of this money is coming from. At Gordon's office, we do true NIL deals. We sign a kid, he has to do things. We look at the value, we submit it to NIL Go, we get approval, and they want it to look more like what we do than a booster dumping $5 million into a collective and the athletes are getting paid that way. So having a bona fide product that you can sell, like, a fast food place or, someone that has an actual product that they're promoting, whether it be a service or an actual product like a food. I think that's one of the big ways that you can control this and get it reasonable. So it's a start.
It's a start.
A lot of work to do. Like I said, this is going to go from this to a markup to submission to then approval for a vote and then a signature. But in between there's going to be a lot of negotiations, a lot of changes in what they put in here. Maybe you get to a point where you do collective bargaining as part of the process of getting to the act. I don't know, but this will change a lot. This is a very rough draft. Many revisions, changes before this gets anywhere near ready to submit.
Okay. Jeff Watson with Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys does a great job helping us out with some legal perspective on all the NIL, legal wrangling, everything going on here. And the Protect College Sports Act is the next iteration, first bipartisan piece of legislation we've seen. So I guess it is a step in the right direction. Jeff, we appreciate it, man. Thank you for the time as always.
Thank you, bud.
All right, man. Be well. It is after further review. Speaking, Jeff mentioned, of course, Gordon McKernan's done so many NIL deals. So too has Our Lady of the Lake, where we remind you success takes a team. and not just on the field. At FMOL Health, that team is more than 20,000 strong, delivering care across Louisiana and Mississippi as one connected, mission-driven health system. As a $5 billion health system with nationally recognized quality and not one but two exceptional workplace awards from Gallup, FMOL Health has built something people trust and continues to grow to meet the demand and the needs of the communities they serve. And when LSU needed a partner to care for its student-athletes, they chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner. And that tells you everything you need to know, because the same level of care isn't just for athletes, for you, your family, and communities across the region. It's bigger than sports. It's about having a health system you can count on. So, FMOL Health, Our Lady of the Lake, and LSU. Together, we roar. Learn more at olrmc.com/LSU. All right, appreciate Jeff. A good perspective there. The long story short seems to be this is a rough draft that's going to get marked up tremendously. Not even close to being submitted for a vote in Congress. Expect a lot of changes, and the antitrust considerations are the biggest hurdle right now if you're not going to have athlete representation at the table. So, but how do you do that if you don't collectively bargain? And it's just super complicated. I don't know how we get closer to a resolution, but they're working on it. So, in the meantime, carry on. All right, Saints had their second day of OTAs. Sean Fazende was there as Kellen Moore met with reporters. He'll join us next. It's AFR.
After further review.
Man, it's a great time to get by Renaissance Baton Rouge and check out Tallulah if you haven't been yet, or if you've been but you haven't been in a while. So Chef Reed over at Tallulah has taken over for Chef Jason Abair, who's now over the entire food operation for Renaissance and for Watermark and the whole operation. Well, Chef Reed has reimagined the menu at Tallulah inside of Renaissance Baton Rouge, and my goodness, there are some humdingers. And I would say it's a casual upscale dining experience, how they describe it. So it's not fine dining, but it's not fast food. It's not just a restaurant it's not a hotel restaurant. It's a casual upscale dining experience right there in Renaissance Baton Rouge. So pop on in for lunch, an affordable, delicious business lunch. You want a date night on the town, go have a cocktail, craft beer, whiskey, glass of wine. You can do it right there at Tallulah inside of Renaissance Baton Rouge.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Obviously, that group we feel really good about. There's a ton of depth. There's a ton of talent in that group. Guys that played for us last year, guys we acquired this year. And so it's going to be a really competitive group. It's going to be a group that, we'll hold them to a high standard because we have a lot of really good expectations for those guys. And so, it's great. And those guys will all mix in there, in various groups, with which quarterbacks they're with and different positions and different roles. We just got to kind of utilize all those different opportunities for those guys to find the matchups.
I was Saints head coach Kellen Moore after day 2 of OTAs, meeting with reporters, talking about the receiver group and Jordan Tyson out there, but apparently limited. Sean Fazende, our friend from Fox 8, good enough to hang out. He was there at OTAs. How are you, dude?
Good, Matt. How are you?
Really well. So any observations from the receivers today?
Well, there's a lot of them. 13, I think, on the roster right now. Yeah, they're getting a lot of work, a lot of mixing and matching. Olave out there, Vele out there, Polk, Kevin Austin Jr. Tyson was out there doing a little bit of sort of the, receiver group drills, but not even all of it. It was just very, very limited work, but he was there observing. And the last time we were able to see him on the field was the first day of rookie mini camp. So I'm sure it's some sort of kind of precautionary plan they have with the way they want to utilize him throughout the offseason. But, yeah, I think the big takeaway from the receiver room is there's a lot of them. And, frankly, they needed that kind of investment in that room just given what they were, left with by the end of last season. And it's obviously the huge need, for some playmakers on the edge and that tight end as well.
Yeah. Attendance is always interesting because OTAs are voluntary, right? Mm-hmm. So Chris Olave, despite his contract negotiation, was there. Alvin Kamara was not. Let's take those one at a time and talk about what your impression was of Olave being at OTAs.
Well, it's a good sign. Probably a good sign that, perhaps negotiations right now are on the right track to get the extension done. And for the most part, if you look at the Saints' track record, they eventually get it done with the player that they value, that they know they're going to be paying, a decent contract to with an extension. It doesn't always happen in the off season. Doesn't always happen in training camp. Sometimes it happens, right at the start of training camp. Sometimes it happens right before the season starts. It's just, it's a process because he's still under contract for one more year, and there's no hard deadline for it, at least not in the immediate term. It depends on the player, but for him being out there right now, and honestly, I think there's an excitement with him, given the way his season went last year, given the way he connected with Kellen, given the way he connected with Tyler Shuck, and frankly, the negotiations at this point seem to be heading in the right direction. So that's a good sign. Alvin Kamara, look, you can make it a red flag if you want to, but the truth of the matter is he's never been here for OTAs, at least not for the last couple of seasons. He's always trained out, I believe it's in Miami, getting ready for the season. I think it would have been more of a green flag had he been here than it would have been a red flag for him not to be there. So that was not surprising, even with the call it questions surrounding his future.
Any other? I know there's a handful of players that were not there. Any other of them notable for one reason or another?
Well, Ryan Wright was not there. Zach Wilson was not there. Nathan Shepard was not there. Alvin Kamara was not there. That was not injury related. So, it's a different point in the calendar. As you mentioned before, these are not mandatory; they're voluntary. So there's always going to be a couple of guys that may or may not be able to attend. We were not available. We weren't able to see what if any of those guys were there on Wednesday. So a pretty good number when you talk about just the sheer number of veterans that were there. I decided not to, to show up in the city to perform OTAs for the first time the entire roster can get on the field together. And then there's always you look at some of the injured guys. Kendra couldn't go. Mason Tipton wasn't out there. Then you talk about Tyson, we talked about him. Christian Miller off to the side. Oscar Delp was full go, but then he had to exit early. Looked like he might have pulled up on one of the routes that he was running during one of the drills and didn't finish practice. So there was a couple of guys that they're still kind of ramping up. And Delp's situation looks like there was something that happened at practice. I guess we'll find out the severity of that soon enough. But for the most part, that was it in terms of attendance. There were the guys that are not in town, and there's also the guys that were there but were not able to participate.
Talking about the Millers, Kendra and Christian, make anything of those two guys not participate, being there but not participating?
Christian Miller didn't participate in rookie minicamp, so not entirely surprising, at least not the day we were out there. So we'll see where he's at from a recovery standpoint. In his case, let's be honest, Matt, it's OTAs. They don't have pads on. And for a lineman, it'll be much more of a concern once those pads come on in training camp. If he's still lingering on the sideline, that would become an issue. Kendra is always an issue. Look, I think it's towards ACL, week 7, week 8 last year. So you can do the math. And this is a guy with an injury history. That is concerning. And hopefully he's back on the field sooner than later, because I would put him squarely on the roster bubble if it continues to be an issue when it comes to availability. So, and it's something that when you watch him play when he's healthy, I think he could be a very productive player, not to mention the fact there is a huge need, depending on what happens with Alvin Kamara, for RB2 on this team right now. So hopefully he can figure it out, find some kind of place where he can withstand the wear and tear of an NFL season and off season, frankly, and hopefully he's back on the field sooner than later.
He's on Twitter at Sean Fazende, Fox 8, if you want to give him a follow. Any notable players that stood out for anything they did on the field?
Look, man, I'll leave you with two. I thought Tyler Shuck looked sharp today. I thought, the difference between last year and this year is just so big, just because he described it after practice. Last year I was previewing, this year I'm reviewing everything. Last year he was kind of swimming. He was a rookie coming in the middle of a competition, trying to figure out NFL practices, and just the sheer body language and just sort of the command he seems to have in year 2 of Kellen Moore's system. They only did a couple 7-on-7 sessions, but he went 10 for 12, really decisive, knew where to go with the football, had a couple of big plays, one on the sideline, throw to Devon Vele, another on a kind of a double move to Jawan Johnson, who beat Caden Ellis, who slipped on the play, and it was a big gain. I don't know. It just feels like I thought comfort was really the theme of the start of this OTAs, both with him and Kellen Moore. Just year one was one thing. Year two, you're really starting to build. So I thought Shuck looked sharp. And also, just from a personnel standpoint, probably the most important development was, okay, who's playing the star? Who's playing the nickel, the slot? And, we all had our guesses, but today, first crack's going to Jonas Sanker. Last year's third-round pick, played a lot of deep safety last year, but this year, Brandon Staley has trusted him, at least initially, playing that star position. To make no mistake about it, that is a very important position with the way Staley runs his scheme. So Sanker, second-year pro, you're asked to do a lot with that role. You got to cover receivers, got to cover tight ends, you got to blitz, you got to be stout and run support. It's a lot to take on. So if he's already kind of earned the praises of his coaches to get the first crack at it, I think that's significant.
At Sean Fazende, Fox 8, you want to give him a follow? You can do that there. Check him out. Saints back on the practice field for OTAs. Hey, man, we always appreciate the time. Thank you.
All right, bud.
Be well. Speaking of Saints at OTAs, of course, they had their practice uniforms on. And if you check out the Saints practice jerseys, you'll notice there's a Rouse's Markets patch on the jerseys. Because Rouse's, official supermarket of the Saints. Rouse's.com. There it is right there. Look. Well, Chase Young with his jersey with his Rouse's patch on there. Rouse's.com. You go to the website, get the weekly ad there. If you're grocery shopping on a budget, you want to check out all the specials they have going on, you go to Rouse's.com, check that out. Always encourage you to check out the Rouse's Facebook page as well. Do a great job every day. I mean, like, they even have an in-house dietitian who does videos giving you cooking recipes and so many awesome resources there on their social media, Facebook, Instagram. So make sure you're following Rouse's on social media. And we always talk about the sales that they got going on. How about this right now? The Crazy 88 sale. I like this a lot. How about this? 100% premium USDA Angus choice beef. These are boneless New York strip steaks. $10.88 a pound. California grown red cherries, $5.88 a pound. Yellow honey mangoes, just 88 cents. It's the Crazy 88 sale. You get it. It's going on right now at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's. This feels like home. All right, y'all. Man, what a jam-packed show. People always out here asking, man, no LSU baseball. What you going to talk about? Dog days of summer. Nothing going on. Oh, really? We're pretty loaded up today. Saints OTAs. Greg Sankey out there taking the gloves off, defending the SEC. We had Cole Freeman in studio with us, former Tiger great. Lane Kiffin talking about the future of the SEC championship game. Kendall Rogers was here previewing regionals. We had Jeff Watson here as well talking about the Protect College Sports Act. You just heard Sean Fazende. My goodness, you missed anything today, get it on demand. AFR On Demand podcast, YouTube. Just search After Further Review on podcast or YouTube. After Further Review. Get anything you missed always for free. All right, it is After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll knock out our final break of the show. Jimmy will be here for Auto Locks. Ott's already 1-0 on the day. The guy, I tell you, he had the White Sox in a little matinee today over the Twins. Rocking chair, 6-2. What's he got for tonight? You'll get it next on AFR.
AFR.
REV. RevFiber.com. RevFiber.com. Hey, listen, we're talking about Rev. I've been telling you about Rev now, and I want to remind you this is not just an internet service provider for your home, but also for your business. Listen, here at Guarantee Media, we're Rev customers. Parish Construction and Roofing, we're Rev customers. So I strongly encourage you, if you're a business owner, and sometimes, look, you're looking at your budget, check out what you're paying each month for your internet, cable, security, automation, all that stuff. What if you could get a better service, a more reliable service, faster internet speeds, all fiber network, local call center, local service, and save money? Why wouldn't you switch? Rev Fiber. Check them out online. Have them come out. Give you that quote. RevFiber.com. REV. RevFiber.com. Love telling you about our friends over at River Parish Contractors, and they're awesome people too, man. Had lunch today with my buddies over at River Parish Contractors. I got to meet some of their clients as well from CF. We had a great time. And they're genuinely awesome people that build a great culture at their business. So if you're looking for work, or if you're not sure, quite honestly, if you're looking for work, maybe you're just at a job that you're open to exploring options. Listen, River Parish Contractors has work stacked. They're going to keep you busy, and they have so many great benefits. Look, you want to work overtime? Work as much of it as you want. You want to work night shifts? Awesome. They got day shifts and night shifts if you want to work when it's cooler. You're going to be home with your family every night. They got great benefits, health, 401k. You got to check out River Parish Contractors. Check them out online. Call Big Jake, rpcontractors.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. One thing left to do, find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Lock.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Yo, Otter, what up?
What's going on, Matthew?
Happened to jump in the car after lunch with my my friends at River Parish Contractors today. Heard the final segment of Live at Lunch. And as you're going off the air, Hanny, little chef's kiss, said, "You like the White Sox?"
Yes.
And so you know what I did? Before I pulled out of my parking spot, I opened up my DraftKings app. Bet the White Sox. How about that? 6-2. We're already in the money today, Otter. Let's go. Let's keep it going. Let it ride.
Smooch. There you go. Love for everyone. We gonna ride the hot bats of the Orioles. They're at home. They're underway, batting in the bottom of the first inning. So they are just smoking the ball. So team playing at a much higher level than what their overall record is. So we got the Orioles. Not sure what the end game is.
Oh, they got runners at second and third with one out, so it's minus 242 right now.
That ship has sailed. See, if Handy gave me a little bit more time, just a little bit, Anyway, that's about 3:15 every day. Hunt posts the pick, so got to go to the site. A lot of these games start during the week about 5:20, 5:40. All right, we're going with the Astros rubber game in the in Global Life Field in Arlington. It's been a dismal season for the Astros, but one bright spot has been young pitcher Arrighetti. Arrighetti has been really consistent arms, kind of breaking through this year. He is, it's kind of so-so before the season, but he's been really tough. We're going to ride him tonight plus a small amount. It was like plus 115 when we put it in on the website.
Plus $1.23 right now, so a little bit better number.
Even better. Yeah, so the public driving up the Rangers on that one. And then the basketball game tonight, is Oklahoma City, do they have Wemby figured out? Is Wemby going to play and get a little bit tougher down in the paint where he belongs instead of hovering around the perimeter? I don't know, but I do know this, that the lead official tonight is Scott Foster. What is his nickname? It's the Extender. It's his specialty. He extends series. Let's get on the extender tonight. Take the home team minus 3.5. I think the Spurs will win tonight, but I do think Oklahoma City will close them out on Saturday night.
By the way, the Orioles looking to get out of the jam right now. I'm sorry, the Blue Jays looking to get out of the jam right now. Second and third, 2 outs. The number's back down to minus $1.41. So could maybe look out and still get in on the Orioles if you want to.
Shoot, 2 on, 2 out. That's worth a swing.
So it's down to minus $1.33. So we'll keep an eye on it. If they get out of this inning, you get a better. If the Blue Jays get out of this inning, we'll have a better number there. So see if they can creep closer to it. We'll keep an eye on it. Tomorrow,
hey, Matt,
yes, sir.
Matt, tomorrow we have really been very profitable on our Bet Rivers college baseball podcast. Hanny's been smoking them pretty good. We've been on them. We got a lot of picks for tomorrow, all weekend's action. regional and individual games. So we'll have those starting at 11 tomorrow.
Awesome. We'll look forward to it. Good luck tonight. Have a great show tomorrow. Thank you, Otter.
Hey, good luck.
All right, man. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. You want to see 2020, call 924-2020. Look, Otter was just with us. We're both patients of Dr. Blake Williamson. Dr. Blake did my LASIK. September will be 8 years. Jimmy had the custom lens replacement. So, the whole thing where, you hold the paper far away, needed the flashlight on the menu to see at a dark restaurant. Not no more. You had the custom lens replacement. I had LASIK. Wake up in the morning, boom, see 2020. You want to see 2020, call 924-2020. No matter your age or refractive issue, the Williamson Eye Center can help. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. Blue Jays got out of that inning without allowing a run, so they go to the top of the second. The number for the Orioles, if you want to get on the money line, is minus $1.08 right now. So not too late. If you want to get in on that play, Otter Locks are posted. All right, we're just about done here. Remember, if you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Brett Golf. Alas, Terrio back tomorrow. The band back together for a Friday edition of AFR. Looking forward to the Riot Radio Hours returning tomorrow. So we'll see you here for that. Muse Pauly, appreciate you. We always appreciate Blasia and the awesome team over at Decision Critical. We tell you all the time, it's not just healthcare. It's healthcare for your lifestyle. You need their excellent in-home nurses, their expertly trained nurses for anything. They got you covered. Decision Critical. See you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
All right, y'all, we're getting on down the road, and a lot of you are getting on the road. It's vacation time. Kids are out of school. Weather's getting nice. We're headed toward the 4th of July. A lot of people heading east toward the beach or wherever you may be going, up to Pigeon Forge for baseball. The bottom line is if you're taking your vehicle on the road, make sure before you get on the road, you take your vehicle to Shawbills. They're going to sell you name brand tires at wholesale prices, and of course, they're going to treat you like family. So whatever you have going on, they can help. Did you know you should have your brakes checked at least once a year? I didn't know that. But I was on Shawbills' Facebook page earlier today and saw the post. You should have your brakes checked once a year to make sure they're at max efficiency. When's the last time you had your brakes checked? Probably time to bring it to Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. It's Shawbills. We keep you rolling.